It's Sunday. We're back here on Sunday. It was Saturday last time. It's Sunday, December 22nd, 2024. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. What you celebrate. Have a great, happy holiday week. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have families who are enjoying these next couple weeks off from school. School kids get 2 full weeks off all the way through Friday the 3rd. And that weekend, amazing. 2 full weeks off in most places, in many places around the country, here in the Northeast in a lot of places. And that means a lot of opportunities for families to go to the movies. Some already have, some will over these next 2 weeks. Let's talk about the weekend box office as always. You can send in your questions, your comments here on LCJ Live. I've got Tails and Knuckles here with me because your number one movie in the Mufasa showdown is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. $62 million now. Let's say this. It is in between the opening weekends of Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. The first Sonic the Hedgehog in February 2020, just before COVID. Seems like forever ago. $58 million for that opening weekend. Sonic 2, April of 2022. Even with COVID, it's amazing that Paramount turned around another Sonic movie in 2 years and 2 months. And that opened to $72.1 million. So you have 58. First Sonic totaled 149. Sonic 2 opened to 72, totaled 190.9. This Sonic 3, $62 million. Paramount was pushing for 70 and a half, $71 million. But they couldn't get there with that estimate this morning, I think because a lot of families are going shopping. There are a lot of activities. There are a lot of things for kids and parents to do before Christmas and other holidays coming up this week and next week, even planning for New Year's. There's a lot going on. Families need to do their shopping, and this weekend gave them the opportunity for that. So yes, a lot of people went to Sonic. My showing was pretty crowded on Thursday. I'll talk about Mufasa in a second, but you're going to see over these next 2 full weeks, and then into January through Martin Luther King weekend, all of that, you're going to see families go to Sonic the Hedgehog 3. In fact, for Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, it was originally going to be Paddington in Peru, but Sony moved it to February to get that whole February break week for kids. They moved it to Valentine's Day, up against Captain America, because they want that full week of kids off of school as opposed to just 1 day for Martin Luther King Jr. Day in mid-January. So now you've got Sonic, Mufasa, Wicked, Moana. That will still do numbers during that particular weekend in January. A couple weekends later, you have Dogman, then you have Paddington, and then there's more family films to come in the winter and spring. Mufasa the Lion King, $35 million for Disney. That's not great. Remember that 2019 Lion King opened to $191 million and totaled $543 domestically. Totaled $1.7 billion worldwide. And right now the worldwide open is about $122 million. It's not good. It's not great. For a film that's not good, I don't think it was necessary to do Mufasa the Lion King. There's not a lot to the story. There's not a lot to the music, the character development, the arc, the emotion. It lacks a lot. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 I had a much better time with. It's the most fun of the trilogy. It's the most entertaining. It's the most confident. The writing is more interesting. Is it relentless? Yes, it's a lot. But I enjoyed Sonic the Hedgehog 3 significantly more than Mufasa the Lion King. But still, even with families needing things to do before the holidays, you still have these 2 movies earning a combined $97 million this weekend. And then you have 2 more PG-rated movies leading the way. In fact, the top 4 this weekend. PG-rated movies. When's the last time that happened? Wicked, number 3, $13.5 million. It's at $383.9 for Universal. It is one of their biggest movies of all time. It keeps passing some of the Jurassic movies to achieve this. I think it's number 4. Unbelievable. Behind one of the Jurassic Worlds, another one, and Super Mario Brothers movie. It's now 4. That's incredible. Wicked Part 2, now called Wicked for Good, opens in a little less than a year. And Moana 2 dropped to 4th this weekend, but still, even with Sonic and Mufasa, Moana 2 still made $13.1 million this weekend. It's at $359.1. It's about to pass Despicable Me 4 to become the second biggest fully animated film of 2024. The first Moana did 248, so it's a significant increase over that. Though I will say this, Moana 2 had a 5-day slash 6-day open of $225 million. 225 is a huge chunk of the 359 that is the total currently. So it absolutely slowed down after that initial weekend when everyone needed to see it right away. But still, Disney is thrilled with another huge success, but it won't be one of their absolute all-timers. It's still a gigantic box office performance. And number 5 this weekend, new from Angel Studios, Homestead. Did even better than Bonhoeffer last month. Homestead opened to $6.1 million this weekend. Number 6 is Gladiator 2, which added 4.5. It's at 153.9. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 will pass Gladiator 2 to become the biggest Paramount movie of the year. It's just might take a little time. It might be a week, it might be 2 weeks. We'll have to see. It depends on how high Sonic 3 can get while kids are off for school over these next 2 weeks. Number 7 is Kraven the Hunter with 3.1 million. Kraven dropped big, down to 3.1 million. It's only at 17.4. Remember, it opened to 11 last weekend. It's a terrible second weekend, a terrible open for a terrible film. Number 8, we believe, is Red 1. The money's just coming in for films 8 and 9 this weekend. Red 1 added 1.4 million. Even being on Prime Video, families, even though it's PG-13, people still want to go see this in the theaters before Christmas. Red 1 added 1.4 million. It's at 95.4 for Amazon, kind of matching the 2019 Addams Family for Amazon. Look, I think they're going to call this a success. Theaters and on streaming, it's a success for Red 1. And number 9 is The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, a film I wish was making more money. Dropped from, what did it do, 4.6 last weekend down to 1.2 this weekend. That's a big drop. Only 7.3 million. A lot of theaters were already cutting showtimes for Lord of the Rings because they needed to make room for Mufasa and Sonic, and not many people going to Lord of the Rings. And number 10 is The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. Families still going to see that before Christmas. And at 825,000, it's at 38.5, the biggest movie of the year for Lionsgate. The Golden Oreos, hey lights, when video game movies like Sonic 3 or Mario come out, have any of them ever made you watch footage of the game that it's based on to see what it got adapted into the film? Interesting question. I have not specifically done that. However, I have played a lot of Mario Kart, Mario Baseball, different Mario games over the years. I've never really played Sonic, I don't think. I've seen him in different arcades and places, but I have not. But I will tell you this, the fandom that was there Thursday night for Sonic, there were people with outfits on, merchandise with them, handbags, jackets, shirts, and just like what happened with Sonic 2, the end credit scene, the mid-credit scene basically, people were cheering, people were screaming, people were going, oh my gosh, what is happening? I can't believe it. Sonic 4 is already confirmed for spring 2027, and you see what might happen in that based on the mid-credit scene. I think the fan reaction to Sonic 3 is really strong. A cinema score. A- for Mufasa is actually higher than I thought it was going to be. But there you go. The fandom is certainly there, going to Sonic 3, and it will continue to grow over the next couple weeks. In limited release this weekend, September 5 probably did another 30,000. We don't have the money yet on that. The Room Next Door, a terrible movie I saw a couple months ago. It's Pedro Almodovar. Tilda Swinton is nominated for the Golden Globe, but she should be nominated for Problemista instead. You might see that show up on my 10 best list tomorrow. The Room Next Door, we don't have the money on that yet, but not a good film. Flow added 235,000. It's at 1.8 million, doing solid numbers in limited release for a legitimate Best Animated Feature contender. Nickel Boys added 62,000. It's at 145,000. It's in 5 to 7 theaters. Some reports are saying 5. I counted that it's still in 7, so it looks like it did 62,000. It's at 145. And then The Brutalist. The Brutalist opened in 4 theaters. Made 267,000 this weekend, a per-screen average of $66,700. It goes wide in January. This is the 3-hour, 15-minute, plus 20-minute or 15-minute intermission, something like that. 320, I mean, it was so long. I screened it a few weeks ago. It's just long, and not much of it is compelling, in my opinion. The Brutalist, even with limited showtimes because of the runtime, it still did very well in limited release. The cinephiles in New York and LA really wanted to go see this right away. The Brutalist is an Oscar contender. It's a Best Picture, Best Actor, Director contender. But will it win? I think a lot of people are going to be turned off by the runtime and may watch it and go, what was the point? There wasn't a lot to this. But The Brutalist, a solid open, pretty solid open in limited release. So, Christmas is Wednesday, and studios decided to throw out 5 movies on Christmas Day. One of them in limited is Better Man. This is the story of Robbie Williams, the singer from Britain. And I wanted to like this movie a lot more. It starts out pretty good, and then it gets really, really, really full of itself and annoying. And by the end, you go, really? Wow. The visuals are interesting. They're Critics' Choice nominated. The song, the original song, just got disqualified by the Oscars for including previous song elements, so that's not good. But Better Man opens in select theaters Wednesday, goes wide Jan 10. The much better Paramount movie for award season is September 5, which you might also see on the 10 best list tomorrow. In theaters Wednesday as well, Baby Girl, which I would call your classic Lifetime melodrama. Nicole Kidman. There's some dialogue in Baby Girl that is just laughably bad. It is not a smart film, not a smart movie-going experience. No, it's overrated. I mean, I'm not shocked that Nicole Kidman didn't get a Critics' Choice nomination. She's up for the Globe. I don't think she's going to win. People who say she's the front runner, no. I mean, Mikey Madison's in comedy actress, so in terms of actress in a drama, but Pamela Anderson didn't get in Critics' Choice. It's going to be a weird award season. Somebody's going to win that isn't in the other award shows. I can feel it. Something's going to happen. I'd love to see Marianne Jean-Baptiste win for Hard Truths. She's only in Critics' Choice, not Globes. Something like that is going to happen. Clarence Macklin didn't get in Globe, but he is in Critics' Choice for Sing Sing. Mark my words, somebody's going to win that isn't in the other. Whether it's Globe versus Critics' Choice or Critics' Choice versus Globe, I can feel it. Or SAG, BAFTA, Oscars, the way it's going to go, something like that's going to happen. But Baby Girl's not a good film. You know what I do like is The Fire Inside. This is a sports drama starring Ryan Destiny, who gives a great breakthrough performance. She's nominated for the Independent Spirit Award. Also, Brian Tyree Henry, who just got an Annie Award nomination the other day for Transformers 1. He's very good in it as well. It's not the most powerful sports movie I've ever seen. Drags a little, does some interesting things, especially in the second half. The second half is unique compared to the first half-ish, but I like the film overall. The Fire Inside. A film I wanted to like a lot more, Nosferatu. Mike Sargent and I review it. Go to toofast2films.com/podcast and you get our episode. We talk about Craven and Nosferatu, which is all trying to be dramatic and an experience, and it's tons of build-up with absolutely no payoff. And it's like that for over 2 hours? I watched it on Thanksgiving. I've already forgotten most of it. I mean, I've already forgotten about a lot of aspects of some of these movies because they're just so forgettable. There's 3 or 4 of these. I mean, Craven is forgettable. A lot of Mufasa is forgettable. Even the visuals are not appetizing in Mufasa this time and not appealing to the eye. There's a few of these, but there's films like September 5 and some others that are powerhouses. Also, A Complete Unknown, which opens Wednesday. I really like this film. You may see it tomorrow. Maybe. You'll see. I've locked in the 10 best list and maybe a few honorable mentions. So you may see A Complete Unknown show up tomorrow. A Complete Unknown is the Bob Dylan film starring Timothée Chalamet, the best actor frontrunner, the guy who deserves to win Best Actor. Edward Norton, outstanding. He's a supporting actor contender as well. It's a very good film. I have issues with the romance angle. I think Monica Barbaro and Elle Fanning played Joan Baez and Bob Dylan's other girlfriend, respectively. I can't think of her name right now, sorry. But there are scenes with them that don't pack quite as much of an emotional punch as some of the music scenes. Some of the scenes with Woody Guthrie in the hospital. Some of the scenes with Chalamet talking about what he is as an influence to other people in the music industry and being with Pete Seeger, played by Edward Norton. So there's a little bit of the movie that drags a little bit and there's a little too much music, but The performances are there, the direction is there, the at ease atmosphere I love. It's 220, but it flies. It feels like 145, 150, and you're at ease through most of it. And that's unique compared to a lot of other movies this year. So if you're going to go see a movie on Christmas Day that you haven't seen yet, brand new release, out of these five, without question, A Complete Unknown is the best movie of the five. If I had to rank them, A Complete Unknown is number one. The Fire Inside is definitely number two. Number three would be Better Man, and that's only in select theaters. Number four would probably be, I guess, Nosferatu. I'd rather sit through that again, I guess, over Baby Girl. But definitely go see A Complete Unknown. And if you get sold out of A Complete Unknown, go see The Fire Inside on Christmas and throughout the weekend. As I mentioned, the Annie nominations were the other day. They were on Friday. The Annies are Feb 8. And the Oscar shortlist came out the other day. And I'm doing, as usual for AnimationScoop.com, many Q&As, interviews with the directors of the Oscar shortlisted 15 animated short films. I'll do as many as I can ahead of the Oscar nominations on Jan 17. I've already screened some of the shorts that are very good, still have more to go, and you'll start seeing some of those Q&As starting tomorrow at AnimationScoop.com. First one up, Bottle George. I've already done a couple of Q&As that are up on the site. A bear named Wojciech, and one other one, and I want to make sure I get it right if I can pull it up. But go to AnimationScoop.com and you'll see my Q&As with the makers of these shorts. As I say all the time, the most talented people working in this industry are in animation. Au revoir, Maman. That's correct. That and a bear named Wojciech, I've already done the Q&As for, and then you'll see more Q&As starting with Bottle George tomorrow. And also, I've had the chance to talk to the makers of, I believe, all five of the frontrunners for Best Animated Feature for the Academy Awards. I mean, you're talking about Flow. I talked to Gin Silva Lotus, Inside Out 2. I went to Pixar in March and spoke with the director and producer of that. Memoir of a Snail, Adam Elliott. And what else do we have? I'm missing a couple here. The Wild Robot. I talked to the director, producer, and some of the other people involved in The Wild Robot. So it's a good year for animated films. Wallace and Gromit being the other one. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. Nick Park, Merlin Crossingham. So you get all those Q&As, animationscoop.com and or lcj.podbean.com. You'll see my interviews and listen to my interviews with these great makers and read these interviews. It's been a terrific year for animation. I want to pull up the Annie nominations for a second as well, because Kung Fu Panda 4, I talked with the makers of that film, and that got nominated for Best Feature, along with Simon Otto for That Christmas. Ultraman Rising is up for Best Feature. I spoke with those makers. And then Chicken for Linda I screened. Also Kensuke's Kingdom, talked with those makers. Mars Express, they're in the independent animated feature category with Flow and Memoir of a Snail. And a film I watched the other night, Look Back, outstanding. You may see it on the list tomorrow. It's one of the best movies of the year and one of the best animated films of the year, and it's only 57 minutes, but it's on Prime Video, and I highly recommend it. And then, at least Piece by Piece, which I still feel is the best animated film of the year and the best experience of animation of the year, got in for music, at least, from the Annie Awards. Other nominees for feature film, Moana 2 got a little bit. There were a couple others. Spellbound got a little attention. But yeah, I mean, your major Oscar players, Wild Robot, Wallace and Gromit, Inside Out, Flow, Memoir of a Snail. That's probably going to be the five. I spoke with all those makers. Thrilled for that. And Moana 2 is also up for the Golden Globe along with those five. Those five are up for Critics' Choice. Despicable Me 4 got a little bit, along with Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. I spoke with the makers of that. So it was a good year for animation as always. Transformers 1, I wish got more than just Brian Tyree Henry. Another strong year for animation. A lot there. I also loved Spy X Family Code White. I thought that was hilarious. So if you want all those interviews, insights, and more, animationscoop.com, lcj.podbean.com, toofast2films.com for reviews, as well as lights-camera-jackson.com. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Go to X at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson, Facebook as well. Thanks for being here today. I really appreciate it. I wish you all happy holidays. When we're back here, which I believe will be next Sunday, December the 29th, we will look at the box office for Baby Girl, Fire Inside, Nosferatu, Better Man, and A Complete Unknown. Complete Unknown, I think, could do really well for adults. We'll look at the 3-day. We'll look at the 5-day. We'll see if Sonic and or Mufasa still reign over all these new movies, or if A Complete Unknown or Nosferatu can really do big numbers. And then we'll talk about the best movies of the year, maybe the worst movies of the year as well. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, across my social media platforms, including X at LCJ Reviews, my 10 best movies of 2024 list. It will be available at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. And then there will be more surprises throughout the week, including something special on Christmas Day. That's all I'll say for now. But thanks for being here today for LCJ Live. Have a good week. Happy holidays. And I'll see you next time where we'll do the final LCJ Live of 2024. We will take a look at what the year that was, the latest box office. We'll preview the first weekend of 2025, and then it'll be time for Golden Globes, Critics' Choice, Oscar nominations, SAG, BAFTAs, Annies, Spirit Awards, the whole award season, and the Oscars still about 2.5 months away. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.